You received 4 panels for your walls. One panel is a door panel, and the strip in the door may or may not be cut completely out. Also, the panels will have dots on them, so you can align the dots to put it together so you put it together the correct way the first time. Now we're getting ready to assemble our panels. The first panel you're going to want to put together is the one next to your door opening. And the reason we do that is because this flange is going to be turned in later and you won't be able to get your zip tie in. So you never want to have this panel as your last assembly point. All the panels have the dots towards the top, and we're going to go dot to dot. And when we go to assemble them, they're going to be face to face and dot to dot. Now if you notice, we have the outside of the panels, and we're going to go dot to dot. Now that we have them dot to dot, we're going to bend the one flap around the other. Now if it's cold out, the plastic is a little bit stiff, so if you have a heater or a hair dryer, it does help just to heat it a little bit, but you don't have to, but it does make it easier if it's cold. The first step to assembling your panels is on the top and the bottom. Go to your first hole and put your zip tie through the outside of it, and leave your tensioner on the top here so it's not in the way when you go to put it in. Now we're going to wrap one sheet around the other. Now this is where it's easier if you have 2 guys, but my guy's running the camera today. If you have some of these clamps, they do make it easier also. Wrap it up like this. And when you get it so far, you can take a Phillips screwdriver and stick through the hole to hold it while you're doing the rest of your holes, and then just start zip tying. Now if you'll notice, we're going down in through one hole and up through the other. Now you're going to find that there's a few holes in here that are single holes, and those were just used in the process of making the sheets, so don't worry about putting a zip tie through those. All the holes will be aligned. Now we go back through and cut off all your zip ties, and you need to cut the one off the top also that we put in there just to hold it, and cut the one off the bottom. Now we have our first 2 panels assembled. The first one we did was next to the door opening, and now we're going to assemble another panel just like this one. If you notice, we don't have the windows in our blind here. You can either put them in ahead of time, or you can put them in after it's standing. Now we have 2 full panels, two panels you may say, together, and we have them laying face to face. Now we're going to go dot to dot. When you're putting your zip ties in, when you go to pull them down, they pull down best if you let the end of it go down into the hole like it is right there, and then pull them down tight. And you're not going to get them overly tight, so don't worry about that. Just crank them down as good as you can. Okay, now we have both sections put together, so the next step is to put the last connection in after we stand the blind up and get it into the circle, so you're going to need a buddy to help you with that. You're going to want one guy on the inside and one guy on the outside and bring it around. Now we're going to bring them around dot to dot, and we're going to push this panel inward, and that helps you get them flat to begin with. We're going to put a zip tie over the top like we did when they were laying on the table. Now we have our zip tie on the top like I explained to you, just like we did on the table. Now we went down and we put a couple of them just on the inside to pull this panel inward, so it helps you get it aligned before we take the last part around. Last connection, like we told you before, is the most difficult part of assembling a blind, but just be patient and it will go together. Wrap your last fold around, and you can stick a screwdriver through the hole to help hold it. Or you can use your clamps, just work it in. Like we had told you earlier, this was the most difficult part of putting the blind together, but with a little bit of patience, it's not bad. Now we do want to make sure that you cut your top one back off the one you used for alignment, so the roof gusset will sit right down here on the top of your wall.